go into a situation expecting someone to play you. How then does the artist, for example, protect himself even?
Well, I can't be played. A person trying to play me plays themselves.
Like, puts it out and it's all falling everywhere. If she wants to create some scene or whatever and have her authority.
I think that's dramatic.
Months, 4 months, 3 months.
Thank you, Poppy. Thank you so much.
Higgins and Berkowitz in the garage with the car.
If you have receipts, put them up.
Guess what you're going to do? Run me my ketchup.
Could someone provide me with that 143 page today, please?
You're an outsider. I'm an insider.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Some of it I noticed in there were emails that I had that I think you got from a FOIA request that you had on me back months ago.
No.
Well, it sure looked like it anyway. The other thing I was a little bit surprised at is...
You no-neck hoe. No, you're mad because ain't no one ever giving any money to you. No one ever give your no-neck hoe ass any money.
Any other searches similar to How Long to Die in the Cold that evening on that tab?
Your Honor.
I'm going
May I first inquire, you meant morning, I assume?
Sorry, that morning, yes.
Just clarifying, I did not look at evening searches.
Run me my barbecue. Shut your fucking hole. I don't want to hear your mouth. I don't want to see your side glance.
We've had conversations. I know she's a lesbian. She makes it very... my daughter's a lesbian. We've talked about this. And so you got these half-assed liberals, oh, Sean, bring out the homophobia. Hey, listen, I'm fine with that. I have a daughter who's a lesbian I support and love very much. So I said she's an LBG, whatever, onto a T. Who fucking knows? Okay? Who knows? Wasn't against her. You lie about me, Jules, you're lucky that's all you got. You're lucky that's all you got, Jules. Right? Because I know about you too, pal. I'm going to call you pal because that's what you are. You like girls. You and I are alike. Right? I saw you like. I saw your little things about eating poo-tang. Listen, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're that girl. You're that L, G, and maybe on to T. I know maybe you're not bi. I don't know. Who the hell knows?
Good morning. Good morning, people. Good morning. Am I being heard? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, welcome to class. It is class 75. Where did I come up with that? Well, if you take in the pre-games, summer school, this would be the 75th class that we've had in the morning. So I'm counting this as class number 75. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. First and foremost, there's a little pop on the audio, says Dan. All right, Dan, let me figure this out here. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. Let me know if this is better. This may be better. Put the volume up just a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right. Happy birthday to Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank, happy birthday. Oh, it's Beth's birthday too. Happy birthday, Beth. Okay. Wearing my fit. Oh, this. Oh, no. I didn't order this. This was left here. Yeah, some guy I'm seeing. His sweatshirt. He left it here. He was like, "This is my merch." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Okay, cool." Worse if you ask me. Okay. I'll try it again in a second. So, also, another thing I ordered that came in. My Thickums hat. Available in store. Thickums. Can't wait. Look at boom. Little thing right here. Oh, love it. Ooh. Little piece there. I just can't. Oh, a little piece of the pom-pom. That's okay. That's all right. That's okay. Yeah, I had like $25 in samples to order from the store. So I'm like, I needs me a Thickums hat. I needs me a Thickums hat. Yes, Carrie, that hat is all about Kim. Yes, you got that right. You got that right. What was I gonna say? Oh, okay, today. So obviously, right, sad day. All right, news and whatnot, which is weird because September 11th. But I know it was yesterday, but still like the timing is weird. You know, like even in like around the same area. So what I wanted to do today for that was just kind of hold on. Okay. Just kind of have a class where we go over things that make us happy, because here's the thing is when bad things happen, right? When sad things happen, when bad things happen, I noticed that there is, and it's definitely gotten worse with social media, but there is like a quick reaction of anger from everyone, right? And there's a almost like accepted hatred in that anger, like almost like it's okay because like this bad stuff happened, blah blah. So there's almost like a pass at like all this accepted hate. And I don't think that's anything that anyone needs to be focused on. So I think that everyone should just sit in a moment of gratefulness for the things that they have in their everyday life, whether that be who you have, or, you know, waking up that day, or anything, really, anything, being able to like have a roof over your head. It doesn't really matter. But I do think there is such an importance on being able to focus on the good, right? So I want to do a class today where we just go over things that make us happy, right? And I got a couple things lined up. But like, I'll give you an example. Like, I remember after 9/11 happened, there was an accepted hatred of Arabs, right? Totally accepted. The word towelhead was thrown out everywhere, and it was almost okay to say, right? It was almost accepted, right? Not the coolest thing to say, but almost like, well, you know, can you blame us? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Either way, I don't like it, right? I don't love it. So not something I love, not something I love to dive into. I don't love to get into the blame game of it all. I just kind of think that anything that's going to divide people is not good, right? And I don't fuck with that. I don't go with that. That's not a part of my day. That's not a part of my really anything. So I think we should just stick together on what's going to keep us happy, what's going to keep us like anything. Amber, N-word and libtard being thrown around like any word. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what side of what word or what, who disagrees or agrees with what or anything like that. All across the board, I don't like it, right? I don't like it. I've never really liked it. It's not my thing, you know, not my thing. And I'd rather not have it here, where we keep it fun, we keep it light, and that's all. I mean, the little things that piss us off can unite us, right? But the larger things on a larger scale, what part of you it triggers, what part of you it makes angry, and then people say things out of anger. It's just, I'd rather not, you know, I'd rather just not. I don't see anything positive coming from that at all. So we're just going to have a class that we can all just kind of have a good time with. All right. I think I saw, where is Michelle Costa? I saw Michelle Costa in here. You are happy about your cousins, all 32 of us. Absolutely, I am. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Okay. I missed all the instructions, blah, blah. Yeah, we need a happy day. Yeah, we need a happy day. What did I want to go over today? Let me check the notes that I had. Okay, so today we're going to discuss a few things we missed. I know Tuesday I said we were going to be at Pam's for It's All About the Animals. I talked to her Monday night, and I was like, are we still on for tomorrow? Like, it's okay if you have things to do or whatever. And Pam, she does a shit ton, right? She saves animals, like literally every waking moment. So I know that at the drop of a hat, she can have, like, you know, a whole litter of kittens on her plate and have like shit to do. So she was like, oh, she's like, I didn't want to like cancel on you, but would it be okay if we did another day? Blah, 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 like all this other stuff. And I'm like, Pam, yes, of course it's okay. Don't worry about it. I've also been working my ass off this week doing stuff for the show on Friday, and next week would be fine. So we're going to do most likely next week, if not a week after that. We're going to read a little bit from I don't care if you don't like it. We're reading Storm of Suspicion. What part are we at? What part are we at with Storm? Profiling a Karen, right? Profiling a Karen. And we're going to watch my personal favorite part of Karen Reed 2.0, which is Dr. Laposata. We're going to watch it together. Not only are we going to watch the whole thing, well, no, it's 4 hours and 40 minutes, according to the trial channel. Amazing channel, by the way. We're going to watch the cross-examination where she takes Hank Brennan and fillets him and stuffs him full of cordon bleu and all this other stuff, right? He, ha, ha, ha. We're watching Laposata because that makes me happy. Laposata made me the most, out of every witness, Dr. Laposata made me the most happy. Sorry, I know. Sorry, Jen. Sorry, Miss Hyde. I'm sorry to all of you. But Dr. Laposata did it for me. And I think she did it for a lot of you guys too. The Wilbur Theater show coming up tomorrow. There's about 40 seats left. 40, 45 seats left. Get a ticket if you haven't got one and you're thinking about going. I set up a place for all these people to go before. If you're going by yourself, a lot of people are going by themselves. A lot of people don't have, like, it's not like they watch this with like mom and dad and the dog. Like, a lot of people who are into the Karen Reed trial, who are into Turtle Boy, who are into all this other stuff, they're kind of like on their own in their family. Hot take. Yes, but it's true. I've like talked to many people who are like, no one understands. I can't talk to my mom about this. No one in my family gets this. I'm the only one who sucked in. They all say that I'm crazy, blah, 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 blah. So I know a lot of people are solo dolo when it comes to this. So I can just go. Who cares? Who cares? Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Polly Claire says, yeah, my husband thinks I've lost it. Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are like, well, you still into that whole thing, that whole trial thing? You still, what? That's still going on. It's like, yeah, it's been over for months, but there's so much more. There's still so much more. You don't get it. This isn't over. I don't think it's over. Mary Swan Pie, reminder, ticket giveaway will cheer people. Oh, that's right, Mary. Mary has a ticket, yes, that's right. A VIP ticket. All right, Mary, let's talk. I'll email you after, or I think you sent me your number. I'll call you after and we'll figure something out. Yes, for sure. For sure. Okay. I'm taking the train up. Yeah, see, Taz taking the train up. Perfect. They need a true crime dating app. Ooh. Do they? You guys would be way too suspicious of each other if there was a true crime dating app. Very suspicious. I could see a lot of floor ticket, not VIP. Okay, Mary's yelling at me now. Floor ticket. Okay. Crucify me up here. Why don't you floor ticket, guys? Floor ticket. All right, we'll touch base after, Mary, before you chop my head off in front of everybody. Dating app is called Meet an Inmate. Yeah, but they said true crime dating app. Yeah, yes, I do. The solo peeps are meeting up. I told them to go to the ice cream place in the Common. Shoot, what's it called? Let me check. Boston. Come on, fucker. Boston Common. Flower. It just opened up. They're open 7 to 7. Flower Bakery. In the Boston Common. 5:30. I believe. Yes. And then just park in the garage. You park wherever you want, hon. You park wherever you want. Oh. If you guys missed it, I did a stream with Brandy Churchwell and Kathy from Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo. And at the end, Brandy really tried to get me together with an inmate. She was really pulling for me to be with an inmate. Will you be doing meth on stage at the show with Turtle Boy? Yes, of course. Yes, that is that's going to be the finale. Is we all just get together and have us a good old celebration doing meth, of course. Yes, John. Duh. Of course. Okay, let's get into our reading. So guys, take out your notebooks. Take out your books and get ready to read Profiling a Karen. We're on page 225, okay? 225. Karen stands out in the current world of high-profile cases because she doesn't fit the mold of the standard female killer. Okay. We asked ChatGPT to list recent high-profile female killers. Casey Anthony, charged and acquitted with killing her 2-year-old daughter, demonstrated crystal clear psychopathic behavior. The responsibilities of being a mother interfered with Anthony's desire to party. Jodi Arias is another classic psychopath charged and acquitted with killing her boyfriend. Her alleged motive was jealousy and rage. Now, this next one is weird. Dahlia DiPolito was a SEX worker who attempted to have her husband killed by a hitman. Funny, isn't that Donna's new jail daughter? Yay or nay? I thought I saw something that was. I thought I saw that. Clara Harris caught her husband having an affair and confronted him in a parking lot, running him over in a rage several times. I don't blame her. Pamela Smart conspired with her teenage lover and his friends to murder her husband. Gypsy Rose Blanchard killed her abusive mother after being tortured and harmed her whole life. Well, I think Nick Godejohn actually did that. Melanie McGuire murdered her husband, dismembered his body, put the pieces in a suitcase. None of these cases found sympathy with the public except Gypsy Rose Blanchard, whose murderous act was somewhat understandable, and there was no question of her guilt. Karen Reed is a financial analyst, an associate professor with no criminal history. She wasn't the victim of abuse in any of her known relationships. She's attractive, well-dressed, petite. He keeps saying that. Stop saying that. Upper middle class, educated, and white with a capital W. Each of these things is a factor in making her an ideal victim hero in a narrative. What else makes an ideal victim? An underdog fighting against powerful forces. That's not all the reality of it here, but that's the narrative. And we Americans have a huge soft spot for underdog stories. Making the main character an underdog is the surest way to success in any story form, from Cinderella to Rocky. Okay. What are these powerful forces Karen is said to be up against? Cops. Cops and their professional cousins, prosecutors. In other words, the system. In the 60s, they called it the man. The system represents this kind of nefarious force that greedily oppressing people while protecting their own. That's greedily oppressing people while protecting their own. I was a bar owner in a large city and employed many cops and regularly encountered many more. I wouldn't say which is a large city. The vast majority of cops are regular people, good people doing a job that times can be hard. But there are, no doubt, some bad apples in law enforcement, and when you encounter them because of the authority and power they have, it's disturbing. However, because I've worked with the police, there's less mystery about them. To me, they're real people, not mythical figures. But to the general public, there's more mystery and more distrust. Kev's like, you're an outsider. I'm an insider. 35 years DEA law enforcement experience. Yet I've also known a lot of the FKRers who had family in law enforcement. So there really is something more than just a general mistrust of cops that feed this. Interestingly, there are almost no people of color within the Free Karen Read movement. The blacks and Hispanics we've talked to tend to be baffled by the obsession with this case. So why exactly does it resonate? The best answer is that it's just the right combination of ingredients. Underdog character, a person with whom older white people can identify, someone up against supposed powerful forces, the mistrust of police, and of course, plenty of things that seem odd, all the conditions to create the perfect storm. There could be one more aspect too. The moment was right. The public was vulnerable to this narrative at this time in history. Witch hunts and similar hysterias, such as, I don't know that word, something, and red scares always come at a time of anxiety and during transitional periods where authority is being challenged. The Salem witch trials came in 1692. 15 years before that, a quarter of the population had been wiped by the Native Americans in King Philip's War. During that war, Indians sprang from the woods, abducting men and women working in the fields, burned down their homes. After that, the colonists lived in terror about what lurked in the woods. But it was also a time when the grandchildren of the original settlers were questioning the strict values of the Puritans. Therefore, there was an underlying anxiety about their future and about authority. And right in the middle, between the elderly original settlers and the more rebellious grandchildren, was the second generation, the middle-aged children of the settlers, and they were the ones who fueled the witch hysteria, hurling accusations against neighbors and settling petty grudges. Just as with the Karen Read mob, the overwhelming majority of people stirred up in this case are in their 40s and 50s. He's so mad. He's so mad there aren't younger people in it. And not your usual protesters, lacking the hardiness of their parents and grandparents, the more dependent on the system that they're so anxious about their future, about Social Security and healthcare. When you're dependent on someone, part of you grows resentful of them. Is that part of what's fueling a weird resentment in the system in this case? Similar things happened in the Red Scare of the 1920s and McCarthyism of the 50s. As with Salem, these came half a generation after a convulsive war, and they came at times of social anxiety and challenged the old culture. Karen Read hysteria comes a couple of years after the deeply unsettling COVID-19 pandemic, a time of forced shutdowns and looming economic calamity. It came at half a generation after wars of Iraq and Afghanistan were winding down. It came at a time when the internet had been upsetting the social order. Okay. 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 You want to know what's interesting about that is that when he said there were no blacks or Hispanics, I'm like, okay. But I remember I had a conversation with Miss McKinney, Legal Poor, and I'm pretty sure it was on the phone. And I was like, what do you like looking at this? Like, what do you think? Like, what did it like? Why did you get invested in like in this story kind of thing? And her answer to me was like very interesting. She was like, police have been doing shit like this to black people for a very, very long time. And she said something along the lines of, when I see them do it to rich white ladies, she was like, if they can do it to you guys, then they can really do it to anybody. And I was like, that was really interesting. She was like, I'm used to seeing it, something along the lines of, I'm used to seeing it with black and Hispanic people. Like I'm not used to seeing it with white people. And when I see it with that, it makes me nervous, because if it's already like that bad that they're starting to do it to you guys, something's up. I thought that was a really, really interesting take. I was like, okay. All right. Jackie L sends $5, says, break a leg, Wilkums. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. I will try to break all the legs. Yeah, we're reading, that was Plevin's book. The next part we're going to be reading in next class is called Lighting the Match. It's on Us in Yellow Cottage Tales, You're Live, where he goes right into some big thing. I don't know the story, but I'm excited to read it. It's something about something that happened when he went live and there was a lot of people in his live stream and they wanted him to say this and he didn't want to say this and blah, 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 blah. I don't know the whole drama. I wasn't like here yet for the whole drama, but I'm very, very excited to read it. Very excited to read it. Okay, let's get started on my favorite part of Trial 2. Did anyone watch the Glare go over the 95-page thesis thing from Lindsay? And then right in the middle of it, someone asked him his sign. Someone asked what his astrological sign was. He got so mad. And he said it was romantic racism. He went off for like 10 minutes on how that was romantically racist. Oh my God. Watching him read that was like watching him give himself a therapy lesson. It was so good. It was pretty amazing. He was like, what's my sign, man? Come on, man. What the man? No. See, can't you just have a conversation with me without asking me if I'm an asparagus Sagittarius or if my Gatorade's in Mercury? I don't know, man. What do you mean Mercury? I eat tuna fish. I don't have anything with Mercury. Dude, that was so funny. That was really, really funny. Okay. But I get it. I understood why he was pissed about that, because it's not like he's not a Virgo. It's not like he was like sharing something or like having like a moment of like being vulnerable. And then in the middle of that, someone was like, what's your sign? And I feel like they were equating his emotional vulnerability to what sign he was, where it's like time and place kind of thing. I understood why that pissed him off. I feel like it was like the way in, or like the time in which it was asked. I get it. Okay, now let's watch something that's going to bring us all together, and that's Dr. Laposata. There she is. There she is. Hi. Let me switch. I'm going to go over here. Cancel. Boom. Edit. Why isn't this working? Hold up. Okay, we can do this. Let me know if you can hear it.
Breakage, no fractures.
Okay, thank you. Examination.
Ooh.
Good afternoon, Dr. Laposata.
6 minutes till the afternoon. Good afternoon.
That's okay. You wrote a report in this case, doctor?
Yes, I did.
You just got checked. Okay, this is what we call a Laposata check. Just got right off the jump. He's not like, that's just her letting him know, yeah, this is not going to go the way you want it to. I got your number and I'm already dialing it. I have to again.
Good afternoon, Dr. Laposata.
6 minutes till the afternoon. Good afternoon.
That's okay. You wrote a report in this case, doctor?
Yes, I did.
Do you think that based on your analysis, was Mr. O'Keefe thrust backwards? Is that what you determined looking at his head injury?
That he was, I didn't understand. You had your hand in front of your mouth.
Sure, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's part two. That's two right there. I couldn't hear you. You were speaking like a kindergartner with your hand in front of your mouth. Maybe stop chewing on your fingers and I can understand what you're saying.
You talked about a head injury that Mr. O'Keefe had that
Yes.
he suffered from
Yes.
that caused his death.
Yes.
Was that caused by being thrust backwards?
Yeah, the motion was upwards, down.
Okay. And the way you just showed it could be a fall.
Correct.
Did you have an opinion looking at his wound that he was thrust backwards?
What do you mean thrust? His body went backwards. There may have been some applied force to it.
I don't know about thrust. I'm asking if you have an opinion. Your words. Do you have an opinion about thrust?
I wouldn't.
What do you mean thrust?
Did the forensic pathology diagnosis mean Mr. O'Keefe's body was thrust backward?
If you want to say thrust as indicating movement, that it went backwards, then you could say it was thrust.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'm showing you page 2 of your report, Dr. Laposata.
Yes.
I'm just going to ask you to read it, not out loud, and then I can ask you the question. I appreciate it, but I want to.
Yes. Yes.
Are you familiar with that?
No, absolutely.
So, Dr. Laposata, what did you mean when you described that Mr. O'Keefe's body was thrust backward from a standing position?
I mean that he was standing upright and his body had momentum and went down and hit at the back of his head. So it was thrust backwards.
You cannot tell forensically how much momentum he had, can you?
No, we don't do those analysis.
If you can't tell if anything caused that momentum based on the head injury, can you?
What do you mean causative? It was caused by his body went backwards.
Yes. And so the amount of force causing him to go backwards, that's not something you can determine from the head wound, is it?
No, I can't tell you the amount of force. It was significant because he had the massive skull fractures.
Did you say it would be significant?
Yes, significant force.
In modern medicine, there are a number of different machines that can help us see the brain, like a CAT scan, perhaps?
Sure.
MRIs?
Yes.
Would you agree with modern medicine that the use of MRIs and CAT scans and other tools give a clinician equal, if not better, opportunity to examine the brain as actually cutting it and holding it in your hand?
No, the actual gold standard is the pathology, to be able to have the brain in your hand, look at it with your naked eye. And we have conferences in the hospital where we meet with radiologists and say what we find at autopsy and see if their radiology was correct.
Can CAT scans and MRIs show contusions on the brain?
Well, they might.
Subdermal hemorrhages?
Subdural hemorrhages. Yes, they
Herniations?
can. They can.
Do you have any doubt about the modern medicine and the use of MRIs and CAT scans? Do you think they're inadequate in any way?
Well, I'm not a clinician, so I don't use those to diagnose diseases in living patients.
Dr. Laposata, have you ever had any experience studying the brain in real time, clinically, going and opening somebody's skull and treating the injury before the person dies?
Oh, blinks.
No, I'm not a neurosurgeon.
You don't have any neurological expertise, do you?
I'm not a neurologist. I'm not a neurosurgeon. I'm a forensic pathologist.
Do you have any clinical experience at all where there's an acute head injury and you're making an effort to observe it and analyze the injury as it progresses in an attempt to save the person's life?
I don't treat or diagnose living patients.
I understand, but as far as your background, have you ever had any experience, clinical experience, showing the progress of an actual brain injury and trying to treat it?
I understand the physiology of what happens to the brain when it is impacted by something, whether it be a bullet, a boulder, a fall. So I know what happens to the body to cause the changes from that trauma. I don't treat people for those injuries.
In observing a brain that's in trauma and making determinations of how long it's viable or whether the person will expire, do you know the process that a neurosurgeon would go through in order to fight to preserve the person or save the person? Do you know the step-by-step process that they would undertake?
To do what?
To try to operate or save somebody from a head injury, from a brain injury.
I'm going to allow it because of politics.
Well, it depends on what the brain injury is. If you have head injury and you have bleeding on the brain that's pushing the brain one way or the other, it would be a subdural. Then a neurosurgeon would come in and try to take that blood away so it doesn't compress the brain. So that's something that neurosurgeons do to treat head trauma. They can also put in drains into the ventricle of the brain, and that can relieve pressure in the brain because that brain swelling is a bad thing. So those are some of the things neurosurgeons do to treat brain injuries.
Can they remove part of the skull to relieve pressure?
Oh, yes, they can do that. It's called a craniotomy. They can take out part of the skull if they need to.
So there are a number of different steps that a neurosurgeon can take when someone suffers acute brain trauma to try to save the person, isn't there?
Well, the job of any doctor is to try to save a human life if you treat living patients. So certainly a neurosurgeon would evaluate the patient and decide if there's any treatment needed that could improve the patient.
There's something about her where it's like, she reminds me of like being little and asking like an adult a question, and the way they answer and their tone makes you know they want nothing more than for you to like run in the opposite direction away from them and never ask them another question again. This woman is so intimidating.
When you've had cases in the past as a medical examiner where there have been issues regarding brain injury, wouldn't you agree that you have sought outside consultation with people who have a higher degree of specialty in brain injury than you?
Sometimes what we do is when we're examining the brain, we can call in for a conference and have a neuropathologist come in and review the brain with us.
And back when you were a medical examiner, you did that on a number of occasions.
Yes, that's routine.
The reason why is because there are different specialties in medicine, and some are different and separate than your specialty, correct?
Of course.
In a neurosurgeon or a brain surgeon, it would be a different specialty than yours.
Yes.
And they're focused on the brain, yes?
A neurosurgeon does brain surgery.
And so, how many times in your career do you think that you've assisted the help of neurosurgeons to take a look at brain study to help you?
I've never needed to speak with a neurosurgeon to look at a brain. Sometimes we call in neuropathologists and we have a forensic neuropathology conference where we look at brains with the interns and residents.
How often would you call a neuropathologist?
Maybe once a month we would have a routine conference.
And again, the neuropathologist, that's dealing with a person's brain after they're already died.
Correct.
So it's not a clinical setting or a clinical experience of actually.
It's the mouth movement and the eye movement. It's like,
watching the brain at work and seeing the injury as it progresses.
We don't do neuropathology like that on living people. The person is deceased.
You had an opinion to the jury today, and you said that you believe that Mr. O'Keefe died within 15 minutes.
Yes, I think that process would start within 15 or 20 minutes.
Is that to a reasonable degree of medical certainty, that opinion?
Yes, based on the severity of the injury and the brain swelling.
You're aware that there are numerous level 1 trauma centers around the country that deal with brain injury, right?
Sure.
And the idea is that people suffer all types of brain injury, and if they are given medical attention in a reasonable amount of time, there's a chance they can be saved, yes?
Well, it's possible, but many are so severe that they cause death no matter how fast they can get medical attention.
In fact, every day when people get the right attention or proper attention, they're brought to level 1 trauma centers around this country to try to help them or save them. Isn't that fair to say?
I would hope so.
Do you think?
Sure.
When you looked at Mr. O'Keefe's brain, obviously it's after he already expired, correct?
Obviously, yes.
And so you didn't have any clinical observation of the progress of his injury that night, did you?
I was not observing him. I did not observe how he got his injury.
When you gave an estimate or you give an opinion about how long he was alive for, are you aware that there's certain tests that are done by neurosurgeons when people are suffering brain injuries, but there's an attempt to save them?
Sure.
Have you ever heard of a Guzman coma score?
Glasgow, you mean?
No, this is Glasgow, but you've heard of Guzman?
It's called Glasgow coma score.
Have you ever seen the assessment that a level 1 trauma center goes through when they're trying to save somebody with a brain injury?
I'm generally familiar with the emergency procedures to save somebody's life.
Have you ever read any statistical studies attempting to correlate the brain injury with the time somebody would live for?
I'm aware of that, and I see that in my practice of people who have survived brain injuries and die of something else. Then I can look at the brain and understand how the brain can heal or react to injuries.
And many people who suffer coup contre coup will go into a brain surgeon center, and many of them pass after time, don't they?
Now, every case is different.
Right. Some might live for an hour, hours, weeks, months, or survive the injury.
It depends on the case.
In this case, you don't have any objective criteria to identify the amount of time Mr. O'Keefe would have lived if he had the appropriate help. Isn't that fair to say?
I don't think it would have been effective because there were massive skull fractures to the base of the skull. And there are cases where the amount of force and energy applied to the head, causing skull fractures, breaking the neurons, causing the brain swelling, despite rapid medical treatment, those people cannot be saved. They can't effectively stop the brain swelling.
Many people can't be saved. Did you know that about 1/3 of them do get saved?
I don't know what you're talking about. 1/3 of everybody has different sorts of injuries. 1/3 of what?
With a clavis fracture, coup contre coup. Are you aware that 1/3 of those patients survive if they get the proper treatment?
It depends on the amount of force.
Okay. Are you aware that a study would show? Have you ever read a study by Isaac Wolf on clavis fractures?
No.
Have you read any study?
Why would you even keep digging? Why? Dr. Laposata is giving us a masterclass in unfuckwithability. She cannot be fucked with. Even a little bit. Even slightly.
On clavis fractures?
Clivus fractures? Yes, I understand what clivus fractures are. It's a part of the base of the skull.
Okay.
And
have you?
Okay, go ahead.
Please. Did you want to?
No,
say?
you go ahead.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Try to talk. Go ahead. Try.
Have you read any studies that tell you, with the proper treatment, despite these potentially catastrophic injuries, that 1/3 of patients can survive?
No, but that's not the case we have here.
And so in this case, I asked if you had any objective criteria. You don't have any objective criteria about the progress of Mr. O'Keefe's wound that can be a basis for you to conclude that he would have died in 15 minutes. Isn't that fair to say?
No, I understand what happens to the brain when it gets that sort of injury. I understand the time course and the physiology. I've seen hundreds of individuals who've had brain injuries. Some survive for a longer period, some die earlier, and it depends on the amount of force and the amount of brain swelling. And in Mr. O'Keefe's case, we had the massive skull fractures of the base of the brain and immediate swelling and subarachnoid and subdural. So he had a large force applied to his head, which caused the brain swelling and the herniate and the progression of the brainstem down through the foramen magnum that stopped the brain. It was a very forceful impact.
You examined his brain after you looked at photographs. You can't tell us objectively when his brain swell started.
It started immediately after impact.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell us what the progress of that brain swell was by looking at his postmortem photos.
By looking at the postmortem photos and the postmortem examination, I can tell the degree of force from the extensive skull fractures that were present.
What was the degree of force?
It was medium to large.
Well, that's a wide range. What do you mean? Quantify medium
I'll
to
strike
large,
the comment.
please.
Ask the question, Mr. Brown.
What does medium to large mean?
Enough to cause a lot of fractures to the skull. He didn't just like sit down and lie down.
If he sat down and lied down, he probably wouldn't have fractured his skull, correct?
That's obvious, yes.
Right. And so when you're telling us you can identify that he immediately died or died within 15 minutes, I'm asking you for objective criteria. For you to give that opinion, I'm asking you what objective information you have. And so you said that there was a large amount of force, correct?
Sure, but because there were massive skull fractures and there's a lot of energy transmitted to the brain, starts swelling immediately
How do you know this wasn't medium force and not large force?
because of the extensive number of skull fractures.
So are you saying it was medium or large force?
Medium to large.
Okay. How much force is that? Can you quantify it?
No.
What other objective criteria do you have to support your opinion that Mr. O'Keefe died within 15 minutes?
With my training and experience of seeing thousands of deceased people from head injuries and knowing some of their clinical course when they get immediate medical treatment, they don't survive.
But you would agree many do.
Depends on the case.
And in this case, you didn't have any opportunity to observe the progress of Mr. O'Keefe's injury that night, correct?
I'm going to allow that.
I wasn't there. The body told me what happened to it.
You have no assessment of the development of his brain injury and how much time it took that night, do you?
I do, from understanding the significant skull fractures and the swelling of the brain and the compression of the brainstem that all happened very rapidly because of the amount of force that caused all those skull fractures on the base of the skull that actually then hemorrhaged into his upper eyelids. That's a large amount of force.
Was gross edema found on his brain?
I think it was swollen, yes.
But was that a finding?
Yes.
Where did you see that finding?
Well, in order to have the herniation of the brainstem, the brain swells.
Where did you see that finding?
I can't answer that. I just know it from understanding, looking at the pathology.
So at the end result, at some point, Mr. O'Keefe had gross edema.
In order to get the brain stem hemorrhages, the only way you get that is because the brain has swelled. And there's no, after injury, tissue swells, and there's no place for the brain to go when it swells, except down into the natural hole in the bottom of the skull where the spinal cord goes down. So that's where the pressure goes. So that seeing the brainstem herniation tells you that the brain has swollen a lot.
Undoubtedly, but it doesn't tell you when it began to swell or the progress of that swell, does it?
I don't know what you mean.
You see inevitably because of the swelling, there's the suffocation, but when you see that, you don't know when the swelling began or how quickly it progressed. You can't tell that from an autopsy.
Yes, you can, because of the severity of the skull fractures. I know there was a lot of force, and that force applied causes you to go unconscious, then your brain swells. If there was just like one skull fracture, then that's a little bit different. But this was massive skull fractures on the base of the skull. So there's a lot of force applied. So I know because there's a lot of force applied to cause the skull fractures, that the brain would swell rapidly.
You would be unable to identify the rapidity of the swelling if you don't know the amount of force. Isn't that fair to say?
Well, I do know the amount of force because of the amount of skull fractures.
In what you know is, in your words, medium to large force.
Yes.
You've heard of periorbital ecchymosis?
Yes.
And that's sometimes called raccoon eyes?
Well, periorbital ecchymosis just means bleeding and bruising around the eyes.
And you saw the bruising around Mr. O'Keefe's eyes, didn't you, in the photograph?
Well, it wasn't bruising caused by blunt force trauma to the eye. It was bleeding in the upper eyelid because the plates above the eye and the base of the skull were fractured by the skull, by the brain hitting it. So, and that's a result of basilar skull fractures and not the application of force directly to the
Would
eye.
you agree it takes a few hours for the bleeding to accumulate in the person's eyes?
No, as soon as you break the skull bones and the heart's pumping, the blood comes out of those injuries. It starts to accumulate right away. It starts within minutes, you can see it.
So you would disagree with the suggestion that it takes at least 1 to 2 hours for that bleeding to occur in the eyes. You disagree with that?
I do disagree with that. It starts immediately.
Do you have any studies that you've relied on or literature or support for that?
I understand the physiology of what happens when you get those skull fractures and the density of the blood vessels. And if your heart is pumping, you pump the blood out those broken blood vessels into this small area above the eye. And it can happen within minutes.
Do you have any studies or literature to support that?
That's my training experience. I can't cite you a particular article at this time. I could certainly go look it up and bring it to you.
Okay. Let me ask you questions about the wounds to the back of Mr. O'Keefe's head.
Yes.
You see a linear abrasion?
Yes, vertical lines, yes.
Now, would you characterize this as a classic wound caused by falling backwards and landing on your head?
What do you mean every wound is different?
Every wound is different?
Sure, every person's different. Every way you get injured is different.
And so if somebody falls backward on their head and suffers the basal fracture, the wound from your perspective can look different.
It depends on the impacting surface.
Wounds on the same surface. Say two people fell on the same surface. Could they have different wounds on the back of the head if they suffered the same injury?
In theory, if they rotated their body, if you could reproduce something exactly, then you would see the same wound patterns.
This wound pattern is typical of falling backwards on a hard surface, isn't it?
We know it's from falling backwards and striking something hard.
Can the frozen ground be hard?
A frozen ground can be hard, but it doesn't fit the pattern in this injury.
We'll get to that, but is it
Okay.
hard enough to cause a basal fracture?
It can cause a skull fracture.
The frozen ground is different than a sheet of ice, right? It's not smooth and flat like a sheet of ice, is it?
It could be, I guess.
Okay. You mentioned there's some granular patterns in this wound.
Yes.
Didn't you?
Yes.
The area in front of 34th Fairview, the frozen ground, do you know if there was any impediments in the lawn that was frozen?
In the what? Oh, the lawn?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I saw the scene photographs when the snow was removed, and it was like winter lawn grass. So it was some green, some brown. It was pushed down and like straw that was going different directions, which wouldn't give you that pattern.
Did you see the exact area where Mr. O'Keefe last moved?
I saw that general area, and there were a lot of photographs.
Well,
yes.
You say general area. Can you tell us that you saw photographs of the spot where Mr. O'Keefe was lying when he was found?
Yes, that general area.
Could you see the ground where his head was? Can you identify that?
Yes, with the scene investigation, they shoveled the snow off of that area.
And you had never had a chance to go out to that scene yourself, did you?
No, I just looked at all the photographs.
You cannot see what's under the grass and the dirt, can you?
Well, dirt's under the grass.
Well, do you know if there's any rocks or impediments or bumps?
It was a smooth surface covered with grass.
It was a smooth surface? The front lawn was a
It
smooth
was
surface?
a flat surface
Flat.
covered with grass.
Okay, and do you know what was under the grass, whether there was any pebbles, rocks, debris?
I didn't see any.
From the photo?
Correct.
But you don't have any firsthand knowledge that exact area where he ended, what the turf was like, do you?
I saw photographs of that lawn where they removed his body from.
So you're relying solely on the photographs. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
Do you know if Mr. O'Keefe was wearing anything that could cause abrasions when he landed to cause that scraping pattern in addition to the linear abrasion?
He did have a baseball hat on, but that would not cause that pattern.
The area of the abrasions, is that in the area of the level of where a baseball hat would be on the back of somebody's head?
It could be.
If somebody hits the ground and falls backwards, can they slide?
If they're on an incline.
What if they're thrust?
Well, if you fall backwards and you fall backwards on an incline, your body might move.
Well, what if you fall backwards on flat ground? Does the body, can it move after it falls?
Not really, maybe a little. If from the momentum of the impact, it might move slightly, but not really.
So when a person falls backwards and lands, you don't think the head has any room for movement?
Not significant.
Well, not significantly, maybe just a quarter inch, half inch.
No, it's possible.
And did you see the scrapes around the wound of Mr. O'Keefe's head?
Of course I saw them, yes.
Okay. And they're within, what, about an inch?
What are you describing? What part? Are you describing the tearing, the laceration of the scalp, or the vertical abrasions?
The vertical abrasions.
There were maybe an inch and a half.
Inch and a half? Do you think that if someone fell backwards and landed on their head, they could move an inch and a half?
Well, he landed on something that had a ridge on it to cause the laceration in the scalp. And then with a little bit of movement, those vertical scratches were caused by some kind of like pebbly-like surface.
You mentioned that the orbital bones were broken and you had opined that it was caused by the brain. Do you agree that a brain is very soft, consistent with, for example, tofu?
Oh, gross. What do you mean? It is soft.
Is it that soft? Is that the texture of it?
Well, it depends on what kind of tofu you have.
Okay. Do you think that the orbital could have broken when the break on the back of the head split the skull and then would cause the orbital break instead of the brain?
The orbital plate fractures, if you look at the base of the skull after you take the brain out, you can see the fractures go up from the back to the front into the orbital plate. Sometimes when you fall backwards, the brain can also slap those orbital plates and cause some damage, but I could trace the fractures from the point of impact along the base of the skull to the part of the skull over the eyes.
Do you think the base of the skull break, when it separates, could have caused those orbital fractures?
I don't understand your question.
When Mr. O'Keefe incurred that head injury,
Yes.
the basal fracture, do you think that the pressure, the damage from that basal fracture, the separation, could have caused the orbital breaks in his eyes?
Well, the fracture of the plates above the eye, when the blood is still pumping, there's a space there where the blood can come down into the upper eyelid.
So you described the brain as causing that break. I'm asking you, could it have been from the basal fracture, from the skull fracture?
Yes, the fracture that was caused by the impact to the back of the head, radiating to the front of the base of the skull.
So when you told us on direct it was from the brain that caused those fractures, was that just a summary, or is that to a reasonable degree of medical certainty?
Well, sometimes the brain can also, in a fall, flap and hit those. But in this case, I could also see that the skull fracture started at the back and came to the front, but it could also be contributed to by the brain hitting those delicate bones.
I guess my question is, when you've provided the opinions generally of what you believe and what you've seen, are these general opinions or are they actually specific opinions based on the facts of this case?
They are opinions based on my examination of this case, but all that's based on my 40 years of training and experience.
When you told us about the brain causing those orbital fractures, you would agree with me, at least now anyways, that it very likely could have been the basal fracture that caused those breaks.
They're both.
It could have been both?
Sure.
Okay, could it have been just the basal fracture?
That's possible.
When you offered the opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty, had you considered the basal fracture as the source of those breaks?
Of course.
Is there a reason you didn't share that with us and you just said it was the brain?
I had no reason not to share it.
Okay. Was there any depressed?
Oh my God, I love this woman. Hold on, I have to address one student in here. I know you don't like suggestions, but Emily, okay, hon, Emily, enjoy your time out, okay? You have a channel, Emily. Go right ahead and do it.
Fracture to Mr. O'Keefe's skull?
No.
Can you tell us a little bit about a depressed fracture? Depressed fracture is different than what we saw with Mr. O'Keefe, isn't it?
A depressed fracture is when something.
Hold on. Okay. You're mean. Oh, LA Thrifter. You go in timeout with Emily? Oh no, Emily. Oh no, Shelly. You go in timeout with her? Poor Emily. Oh, Courtney, poor you, hon. Poor you. You go ahead and join her in timeout. Any other superheroes? Any other save the days? Okay.
Fractures the skull and then pushes the skull and moves the skull inward. This just had a fracture, but it didn't move the skull inward.
And you've seen depressed fractures in your practice over 40 years, did you say?
Of course.
In those 40 years, depressed fractures can happen from sharp objects?
Sure.
Pointed objects?
Sure.
Someone hit a person in the back of the head with enough force, with like a hammer, for example. That could leave a depressed skull fracture, couldn't it?
Certainly. You can hit somebody on the head with a hammer and cause the fracture, and then the continued force will move that fracture into the brain.
There was no depressed skull fracture in this case, was there?
Correct.
You anything else?
Gave some opinions today about you gave some opinions about wounds on Mr. O'Keefe's arm. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about that.
Sure.
Could we have that photo brought up, please?
Ooh. Hold. Last time I got in trouble when they showed parts of the arm. Yeah. Big time. Got like big time in trouble with YouTube. Because I had it in like a short that I did, because she does like pimp smack them up. But because it showed injuries like that, they like screamed at me. I remember that. That was a while ago. I got big trouble. Okay. Exactly, Hedgehog in space. Exactly. But not even 9 a.m. yet. Okay, let's get her back up here.
A puncture has a very specific medical meaning, doesn't it?
Yes, it's a point-like penetration of the skin.
And according to you, there are many punctures in that wound.
Yes, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 or 7.
Can medical professionals disagree on opinions about wounds and causes?
I suppose they can.
You also gave some opinions that you did not believe that Mr. O'Keefe's scratches were caused by having some impact with broken pieces of plastic or glass, correct?
Correct. They weren't caused by that.
Broken plastic or glass can cause a number of different angle wounds, can it?
It causes an array of irregular, random injuries.
It can have infinite different patterns, couldn't it?
Could.
There's nothing to hold a wound from a broken shard to be north or south or east and west. It all depends on how the force was impacted on the body, true?
I'm not quite clear on your
Okay,
question.
I'll try to do better. When you're talking about shards of broken glass or broken plastic, there's no set direction that they may cut somebody, is there?
Well, it would depend on the case and how those occurred.
It can happen in many different forms as far as depth, yes?
Well, anything's possible.
How about length?
What about length?
Wouldn't that change? Couldn't that change depending on how the injury occurred, the length of the wound?
Sure.
And in this case, you talked about your opinions of injury relative to a motor vehicle, didn't you?
That was something I considered.
It's something you considered. Did you know much about the details of the motor vehicle in this case?
Yes.
Okay. When you considered your differential diagnosis, did you consider whether there was any DNA on the vehicle?
I didn't look at any of that.
I'm sorry?
I did not look at any DNA.
Did you know if there was any hair on the vehicle?
I don't know.
Did you consider the scene itself where there may have been a debris field? Did you take a look at the debris field in this case?
I know there were photographs of various pieces of plastic around the area where the body was found.
And do you remember where those pieces were found?
Somewhat, yes.
Did you have an opportunity to consider other evidence like a shoe in the area near where Mr. O'Keefe was found?
I know one shoe was on his foot at the hospital, the other was at the scene.
Do you know if his hat stayed with him after he landed on the ground?
The hat was in the area where his body was found.
Did you take a look at his pants, the back of his pants?
I looked at that, yes.
Okay, what did you see when you saw the back of his pants?
Well, because he had bled from the back of his injury and he was on a hospital gurney, some of that blood came down, so some of the blood was on the back of his pants.
Did you see anything else other than blood on the back of his pants?
I don't remember.
I'm sorry?
I don't remember if I saw anything else.
Did you look, when you were doing your differential diagnosis, did you look at any evidence other than physical evidence? Did you look at any data evidence?
I don't know what you mean, data.
Like data you'd find on a cell phone?
No.
Did you look at any of the data evidence from the defendant's Lexus?
No, other than looking at the contours of the back to see if it had impacted Mr. O'Keefe.
When you were doing differential diagnosis, did you look at any information that would tell you what the speed of that impact may have been or allegedly was?
Well, it didn't hit him, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. So you didn't care to know anything about the car or the data in the car because you had already formed your opinion?
It did not hit him, so it was not relevant to my opinion.
Is that a different way?
By looking at the body, I could tell that there was no evidence of impact with the vehicle. So whether the vehicle was going slow or fast is not relevant.
And so you didn't try to get any information about the speed of the vehicle? It was totally irrelevant to you?
Correct.
And did you also disregard, well, let me ask you, do you ever look at statements?
I look at witness statements if they're available to me.
Were any of the defendants' statements made available to you?
I did hear some of them.
Did you consider the ones that you heard?
Of course.
Which ones did you hear?
I really can't answer that. I don't know what you'd have to give me an example.
You said that when Mr. O'Keefe was first incurred his injury, you think that he was unconscious?
Yes, I think that the severity of the impact made him immediately unconscious.
So if hypothetically Mr. O'Keefe incurred his injury sometime around 12:32, is it your opinion that he never moved again until he was moved physically by somebody else?
Well, I don't know the exact time that he got the injury on the back of the head, but after that time, he could not carry out any purposeful activity.
May I approach sidebar, Your Honor?
Okay.
She's like, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who wants more? Oh, you want some? Oh, you want some of this? Oh, you want a little bit of this? Oh, you want some of this? She was handing out timeouts. Oh, you want to try to make me look stupid? Oh, you want to try to make me look like a fool? Oh, you want a little bit of that? Good afternoon. 6 minutes till, but you know what? 6 minutes till. Love Laposata. Love Laposata. I figured that would put some of us in a good mood. Okay. Got donations to the classroom this morning via Venmo. Becky sent 3 smiley faces. Thank you, Becky. Yesterday, Yvette sent 1 treats for you, Jojo, and Sweet Potato. Thank you very much, Yvette. Brittany sent a donation to the school and said, thank you for being you during difficult times. P.S. Thanks to 2 amazing women from Art Standout, I get to join everyone on Friday. Scooby Snacks. That's awesome. Pardon me. Good to hear. Good to hear. Good to hear. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Glad you're going. Emily, I tried to put you in timeout again. What's going on? How come it's not letting me? Well, no, you're in my emotional timeout. Okay, Emily? Catherine sent a donation and said, Jimmy, I'll buy Mary's VIP ticket, please. It's not VIP, hon. It's a floor seat. Caitlin says, FYI, my autistic brother is 34, so not a child and totally capable of being home alone. My mom just has major anxiety about him, and she was dying listening to you tell me off. You described me perfectly. Thanks. Rainy day on YouTube. Well, I'm glad that you got a kick out of it. I felt bad, like in the middle of it. Then I'm like, no, fuck it. Nope. Say it how it is. Oh, I had so much fun watching Laposata. I love that bitch. God, she's so cool. God, she is so cool. Like, was there anyone better? No, I think she was the best. My opinion, the best witness. Hands down. Sorry. Here she is, rainy day. I 100% am that I have 4 dead grandmas and can't turn in my assignment today kind of person. Yeah, I know you are. I could tell. I can just see these things. I can just tell. Call it intuitive. Call me a people reader. Auntie Deb, I see a suggestion in here you missed. Mr. Monk, why are you trying to start off my day like this? Some suggestions I don't mind at all. I'm going up. I can't see it. It depends. It all depends. Love you even though you put me in timeout. See, here's the thing, Courtney H. I didn't put you in timeout. You put yourself in timeout. It's kind of like your grades. I don't give them to you. Those are your grades, right? I didn't put you in timeout. You put yourself there. So let's start taking some accountability. Okay, there you go. Time out again. Just because. Just because. Good morning, Dwayne. She got under Hank's skin so deep that he is now a skeleton. No shit. She was so good. 6 minutes till. Good afternoon. Oh, 6 minutes till. But what are you going to try to do to me today? Hank, go ahead. Whatever you got, I got something for you. It was pretty great. A mashup of Dr. Laposata and Cardi B's testimonies would be wicked great. Would be fun. All right. Anything else before we end class today? All right. I got shit to do. I gotta go. I gotta make sure everything's my T's are crossed, my I's are dotted. Any last minute questions before we call it? Thug it out. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Good morning, Jimmy. I live on Cape Cod. Wish I could go to the show. I am so close. You are so close. You can go to the show. Go to the show. Are you nervous? No. How do I win a ticket? No idea. I don't know. Can you take that sweatshirt off? Nope. This is mine forever and you can't have it. Sorry. Sorry. How do you sneak in? Oh, no. No. I just got here. Oh, well, not Sarah Lee. There's a great feature. And all you got to do is fucking rewind. You can turn it back. Huh? You can turn it back and rewind. Great. And you can start all over again. All 1 hour and 23 minutes of it. All to yourself. Have fun. Tight on money. Plus, I would drive myself. I'm not afraid to drive. But I understand that. Yeah, of course. Priorities. I get it, Styling. I get it. It'll be out, though, on video in like a little bit of time. But you'll see it at some point. Don't you worry. Does it smell like Peter? It does. It smells like... Not even going to say what I was going to say. Oh, good Lord. Kimbo Slice. I didn't know if you were Black Irish. I am. I'd swear you were Greek. Only recently and by injection. Thank you to the sweatshirt. Okay. Oh, yeah. I want to show everyone. If you weren't here in the beginning, ordered this. It's in the store, and I got one. Boom. My thickums hat just in time for the cold weather. Tzatziki, shut up, Cheech. All right, guys. God bless. Have a good one. See you later. Hey, listen. Don't go rage clicking today, okay? Don't, if you feel yourself getting that emotional, right? Just walk away. Just walk away from it. Don't engage in it. Don't go and count the things you're grateful for in your life. No, the world does not need any of that. You don't need any of that. None of that. Okay. Go watch something that makes you happy. Go watch something that makes you smile. Okay. All right. God bless. Let me see what I can see is out on. Have a good one, and I'll catch you guys later.
Thank you, Poppy. Thank you so much.
Where were you burned?
My face.